Hello, happy Father's Day. This is Z Scott for Old Folks Cooking with Chef Ashbell. Our host is Chef Ashbell, and we are excited to introduce the fabulous and fantastic Ernesto Cullari. He is a phenomenal photographer, videographer, and has so much to share about his father. And without further ado, happy Father's Day. Here's the episode.
My dad's name is Frank. He did pass away, but he was in the Navy. He met my mom through my uncle, who was, they went to the same high school. They were
Right.
all musicians. And yeah, my dad, Frank, actually, cooking is, Filipino food is a sort of a big thing in my family. So, my dad, Frank, just loved Filipino culture. So, he would start copying all the dishes that my grandfather would make. And of course, my grandfather was like, "Oh, this is a knockoff." But
I love I love the Filipino food, longanisa and
there's
purple yam cake.
lumpia, pancit. There's
Yeah,
so many great things, right? There's
yeah, I love
there's a
Lumpia is my favorite.
oh, lumpia is fantastic.
it.
I always tell people lumpia is like, well, lumpia is like the electrico mezcal of food. It's like the cocaine of food. So, um, yeah, there's that one lemongrass electrico that's amazing. But
That's my favorite. That's
yeah,
my favorite. I can drink that every single day of the week. So
absolutely. That and then some lumpia. Oh, that's life. You're living right there. So the one thing
well,
my dad never made, by the way, was lumpia. That's like next level. But he would
okay,
make pancit. He would do fried rice, Filipino style. So
okay.
yeah. And then of course, well, not of course, but my dad was also part Italian. So we had,
Oh my goodness. So
yeah,
you
Italian
did.
food and Filipino food.
Oh, that is the best of both worlds. Okay,
Hmm.
that is
Yeah.
literally the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So you yourself are a very accomplished photographer, a great cook as well,
Thank you.
and videographer, and a social media marketer, and with geofencing and your own company with Barbara Waddell.
Yep.
Um, it is amazing, and I've worked with you on the social media side, and but that's why I wanted to reach out to you to just talk about those influences that just make you the person that you are today. So
Sure.
yeah,
So, I guess this goes back. We've worked on a couple projects together. We worked on your product line, which is Ashbell's Premium Meat and Seafood.
yes,
And the duck is amazing.
yeah,
I know the salmon. So when we were doing all the food photography for that, the great thing is we're not going to waste any food. So we would photograph it and then eat it.
yeah. You got to
And
eat.
I would go through a whole thing of duck. I would go through a whole thing of salmon in
Oh,
one sitting because, you can't open it and then let it, dry
yeah,
out.
you
You know,
gotta you gotta eat it.
you got to eat it while it's, fresh out of the packaging, and it was delicious. And then eventually we worked on the Electrico campaign, and I
Yeah, yeah. That is Z Scott, who's my executive producer and partner. She she is the SEO queen, and
okay, great.
so you guys are in the same kind of social media marketing area, and and I was just excited to work with you on that professional level, but also just admiring you on a personal level, where you just were very comfortable with the arts and with fine food, and there's so many people that are not. and and for me, it's a generational thing. I think younger generations don't really have the opportunities we had to work with really great home cooks like your father and your family, and have a real grounding in food. And I look at all of these incredible influences in food, and they're getting six 6 million views for traveling around. And I'm working on a show, a YouTube show called Hungry Old Folks, and I'm going to be circling back to you uh, because I definitely want to work with you on this upcoming project as well.
Yeah,
So
sounds great.
yeah, and you, what was your favorite dish of your father's?
Even though my grandfather didn't like it, I liked when my dad would make pancit. So pancit is a noodled dish. You could
Right,
have, in the Philippines, you could have pork or beef in it. There's vegetables, there's shrimp. You could do it with two kinds of noodles. You could do
right.
it with uh, an Italian noodle. You could do
Hmm.
it with a clear Asian noodle. It really depends on what region of the Philippines you're in, and sort of like what that regional take is
Hmm.
on lumpia. Sorry, on pancit. So um that's the thing that's I guess Italy is can be like that, where you have different regions that do dishes differently and have different take on what is Italian cuisine. But the Philippines, because it's thousands of islands,
Right,
you're going to get great variation from island to island. Manila is the capital, so whatever is there is going to be more an infusion, an international fusion with your
right,
Filipino food. And
right.
then the further you get away from the city, the more you're probably going to get a little more traditional take on it. But
Hmm.
so that's why, even though my dad wasn't Filipino and he would experiment with these different Filipino dishes, I did appreciate his take on it because he lent more of an Italian angle to it. Um,
Okay,
yeah, so one of the other things when you make pancit, you can use like a mushroom broth base. You can use a cream of mushroom broth base. There's different things you can use to make the dish. But
right,
what's great about Filipino food is its regionality, its diversity. It's
right.
really like opens itself up. The cuisine opens itself up to experimentation.
Okay, cool. My first taste of Filipino food was in London, the
Hmm.
only Filipino restaurant in London.
Hmm.
And while I was on the BBC, I did a segment on the restaurant, and they literally had two great friends for the rest of the time I was in the UK. They would always call me up and say, "Oh, there's a party going on, or we got something special, and I want you to just come by. You can sit in the back. It's somebody else's party, but you got to taste this." And it was so welcoming. I mean, even when they had other people's events, they would call me and say, "You got to taste this stuff. You haven't tasted this. You haven't tasted that."
Hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful couple. I'll never forget them. And you said your father was a musician, so tell us a little bit more about his music.
Yeah, so my dad was into big band music. He played saxophone, and the funny thing is I was like, because my dad plays saxophone, I'm not going to play saxophone. Well, lo and behold, high school comes along and I love to play saxophone. So I eventually went on to write music for Disney and Country Radio on Disney and Country Radio. But yeah, my first instrument besides voice was saxophone. And yeah, he loved big bands. In fact, I have some of his album collection here, and it's big band, as you can imagine, just like some forms of jazz and some forms of
Right,
blues and
right.
some forms of American rock and roll. It's it's lost except to the people that are seeking it, that seek it out, that look for it. And what a rich part of American history, big band music. And he loved that. He loved Sinatra. Um, yeah, he definitely had that flair for, and if you think about it, my dad, I think, would be 72 right now. So
Okay.
for him, big band music was something his father listened to, but
Oh
he
yeah,
himself,
my father as well.
yeah, but he loved it. He absolutely loved it. So yeah,
Well,
he
if you have any short clips of him playing the saxophone, that would be I would love to include this in the segment with you. That would be
I can send you a photo of him when he was in the Navy, but unfortunately, um, the only thing I do have that he was when his high school, and I think it's only in vinyl, so and I don't have a way to digitize it, but when
okay.
his high school band that he was in did like a album, recorded vinyl. So that I found was really interesting. I was like, wow, they actually pressed something to vinyl when he was in high school. I thought that was really interesting.
There was a lot of pressing to vinyl with these very small companies all over the place
Hmm.
for in music production because you could get the equipment, press your music to vinyl very easily.
Hmm.
It didn't have to be a big Sony or an RCA or whatever to really record music. And luckily, um, that's in the American Archive of Music, which is fantastic. So, um, which is for me a wonderful part of history.
Hmm.
Um, if you can, I would love it if you can include a recipe that we can also put up with this, and I am grateful that you agreed to come on and honor Frank and talk a little bit more about Filipino cooking and that fusion of Italian and Filipino that you are. Um, I'm delighted that you've agreed to come on to Old Folks Cooking. and and thank you so much for joining me and paying tribute to Frank on this Father's Day.
My pleasure.
Okay, well, you take care and looking forward to talking to you soon. Okay.
That sounds great. I'll send those things over to you. Thanks so much, Ashbel. It's good catching
Okay,
up with
great.
you.
All right, great. Thank you, Ernesto.
Thank you.
You are the best. Okay. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Okay.